Let's rock!
Be excellent to each other and party on, dudes. Yeah, Billy, dance!
My name is Rusty Berg. I was a stand-in primarily for Dennis Caleb McCoy and Death.
I'm Emily Burns. I played one of the Viennese women. So during Mozart's scene, I was one of the girls there, and I got a really cool dancing part at the end.
And her dance partner may be showing up in about an hour.
Yay!
We're hoping.
My name is Sheenan Cole. I was booked to be a photo double for Jayma Mays, and then after the screen test and whatnot, they called and asked me if I would be a permanent stand-in as well for all of the girls, for Amy Stock, who plays Missy, for Jayma Mays, who is Bill's wife, and for the daughter, Samara Weaving. Yeah, so that's pretty much me. I was there for the full run of the show.
She was also in my copy of the picture of me sleeping.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
My internet.
She's the one giving me that look like, look at this guy. Brian Plato, and I loved your promotion of me last week. Woo!
Yeah.
First, I was an extra in the wedding scene, and we could see my big bald head and freak out.
Yeah.
And then Death needed a stand-in well, first he needed a double, and they liked my head. And then they said, well, we're going to do both. So, you know, most days I was sitting in a chair, but then I could go out in the heat and stand in those nice long robes and sweat the makeup off and all that good stuff. So I have to say, Bill and Ted was one of the greatest experiences of my life. For y'all, and then for us, it was a very intense year of, it was rough.
Yeah, I didn't consider that. Like, you guys have to just be quiet about it the whole time, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about it at all. Wink, wink. Wink.
Hey, I think my scenes were leaked because we did ours on St. Charles, and so the picture showed up on Bill and Ted 3 Facebook group. So like our scenes weren't very secret. Like people had pictures of us in our outfits.
one thing I wanted to ask you guys, was it, I realize obviously there's a lot of, green screens and whatnot and so forth. How was that? How was it doing like the green screen stuff that y'all had to do that?
I thought the green screens was pretty interesting because I worked on green screen movies before, but not to like this scale, to where you really see how far around. I mean, you're really thinking in 360 degrees when they're shooting it, and to see it like you're reading the script as you're standing in and that sort of thing, and you really get a feel for it beforehand. I thought it was rather inspiring to see how much creativity you can do just on the ground and a green screen surrounding you. The last movie I think I was on that used so much green screen was Logan, and I was in very few scenes where they had the green screen. But it was just amazing to be in that environment, to see that kind of stuff.
One thing, you two guys, how was it, both of y'all doing Death? Like,
I was doing some stand-in spots, and I believe they had him ready for being a double.
Stand-ins, they're filming a scene, you need to see the actor's face and cut. Well, now the actor
Lighting.
can go back to his trailer, and then they're team one, because they're the stars. Team two, they come in and you kind of look like the star, you have the same haircut, same build basically, and you stand there while they decide we're going to move the camera here, we're going to put the people's marks so they move from here to here, and they get all the technical stuff out of the way. Actors step aside, they get into character, whatever they have to do, practice their lines, just chill out, and then they come back, team one's back in, team two goes away. You don't, as Death, you don't need makeup for that, you're not really on camera for that. A double, now I explained to someone else before, if you remember Bill and Ted 2, they're fighting the evil robot Bill and Ted. Then they're walking the good Bill and Ted up a mountain. So you see Keanu and Alex's faces, and then you see the other two, you see the back of their heads.
Yeah.
Those are the doubles because you don't need to see their faces.
I got you. So
And
you
since
need
they hired me as a double, they said, hey, you can do double duty and be a stand-in too.
That's cool. Yeah, I guess that works. And so Sheena, I'm assuming you did a lot of. You said you stood in for like a lot of people.
Yeah, I had to wear my color covers for second team, which occasionally they'd put me in the same outfits as the girls or or whatnot. Otherwise, I was just wearing something similar always. Jame, because of the way we shot the scenes, we ended up not needing me to double. And so I ended up, I was always on standby, but then, like I said, the scenes that we shot with the girls, we shot them in very small snippets throughout. So, I mean, during those times, even though I was kept, 12, 14, 16 hours for whatever else they might need. Yeah, they didn't tell us that stand-in also meant utility. So, so we were pretty much there for just about everything. But yeah, as far as costume-wise, I got to escape the most of it.
Awesome. And I'm assuming all of y'all were Bill and Ted fans, correct?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Huge fans.
I have to say, I didn't see it until I got casted.
Oh wow, really?
Oh,
I know. I'm so bad. I was born. I was just telling
He's
my
young.
friend this. I was born in '87, so I
Oh,
missed
God.
all the '80s movies. And so Bill and Ted came out in '89, and my dad said he saw it on HBO, but I guess I was just into Nickelodeon.
I'm a man obsessed, so I saw all that stuff. It's great.
Dedicated.
Yeah.
You're dedicated.
I was really impressed with Alex's performance because I know he hasn't been acting in a long time, and I know I saw something where he said he took acting classes just for Bill and Ted since it had been a while, but he really impressed me. I think he put his all into that role,
He was so good to everybody. Like Alex was the outgoing one that was just went out of his way to talk to everybody and to kind of hang out, and that was pretty wonderful. He had his birthday while he was on set shooting, and my son and I had the same birthday, so that was
Oh,
kind
awesome.
of neat that we got to celebrate on set.
Oh, awesome. That's cool. Yeah, I've always been a big fan of Alex.
Me too.
And I guess I think of all the makeup performances, they're all good, but Alex really has that down. He can really act through that stuff. And it's with
He
the
has an
idiot
way.
bots and all that back in the day, I guess that's his forte, the makeup and stuff. I wish he'd do more, man. I wish he'd stick around.
I still need to watch his documentary on child stars that just came on
I
HBO.
watched it.
It's pretty good, yeah. He's a really good documentarian, that guy. Good for him. I just wish he'd put more makeup on and do some stuff. Let me see. One more question. What about the song at the end? What did you guys think about the song?
It's a lot different than what we had to listen to.
Oh, really?
They have mentioned what it was in interviews, so we can say it was the Beatles.
Obla-dee, obla-da.
Thank you. And a lot of people working it were like, God, not that song again. I got it on Apple Music because I'd leave if we started at let's say noon and got out by midnight. I went straight to work, go cleaning bars after that. If we started at 4 p.m. and got off at 4 a.m., had to do it. Or if we started at 7 a.m., I had just finished cleaning the bar. But I over and over because it kept me going. Blah-dee, blah-da, blah, blah. So I love it. And then the song in the movie gave me chills every time I heard it.
Yeah.
And I listened to that on Apple Music too. I really like it. Yeah, almost as much as the wedding song.
Yeah. I love that one. I was like, why isn't this the song? That was awesome.
Did you hear that on the soundtrack yet?
No, I haven't.
Oh, I haven't listened to it.
It's a little more produced.
I have.
Yeah, I got that on repeat now too. It's great. When we
I
filmed
really
it,
like the whole soundtrack. I mean, there's one song that's super death metal, crazy. That I'm like, oh, maybe I shouldn't listen to this around elementary school.
What is it,
kids.
Lamb of God or Mastodon?
That one,
I can't remember.
yes.
Yeah.
That one is hardcore. But I mean,
Yeah.
I still like hardcore music, but it's a really good soundtrack. If you see throughout the movie, do you know how they kind of jump in and jump out? Like, not the big ones, like the Queen Elizabeth girl wasn't there. I think they did their own green screen. But huh?
So we did with the Queen Elizabeth stuff. So we shot in a neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yes.
We were in Chalmette. We stayed at a house and sweltering heat outside for days.
It was
Monday,
hot.
Days, yeah.
It was hot. Yeah.
Oh, that wasn't the neighborhood where he signed someone's sign?
Yeah,
Yes.
it was. Yeah, that was on
Oh,
the way
okay.
to lunch.
Slide out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we were in the van and going back to lunch, and Kiana jumped out and signed the sign and went to and knocked on the door and took pictures with her and her sons. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I saw that picture on Facebook.
Yeah, yeah.
That's so cool.
And then he went into the house and talked to people, from what I hear.
Yeah. Well,
It was-
they stood at the door. He went and she got her signs, and they thought that she was joking, and yeah, they ended up taking photos, and it was pretty great.
Mom, Keanu Reeves wants to come in the house. Can he come in?
Johnny Utah. So you guys, how cool is Keanu Reeves?
Very kind.
Very cool.
Yeah.
It was very cool.
Very kind. I will say that. Yeah, for our very last day, I think at the beginning of set, like thinking that these were going to come in early as a practical joke and whatnot, I got sneakers made.
Oh, damn.
And it took a month for these things, or a month or two for these things to actually come in. So by the time they finally arrived, it was pretty well our last day. And so I went ahead and brought them to set with showing Ed Solomon and Dean Parasil and all of them. Everybody was cracking up. Well, then Keanu and Alex decided to sign them. And so I got proper Bill and Ted sneakers. But yeah, I was putting him in my car, and Keanu was hanging out the door. He was driving with his driver, and he rolled down the window and was like hanging out the door. And was like, "Hey!" And everyone's looking around like, "What's going on?" And I'm like, "Oh, hi." And I was very, very, very kind to them to do that. But I got I think the best souvenir from the set.
Yeah, I'd say so. Did any of you guys interact with the robot?
Oh,
No.
he was so.
I did pretty frequently.
Yeah.
Rusty was his stand-in, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, you were?
Daily.
Okay. I didn't catch that earlier. Yeah, he was probably one of my favorite parts of the whole movie, I
Oh,
think.
yeah.
He's so
Dennis
It
Caleb
is very
McCoy.
different.
Yeah, he was from Barry. I remember from Barry. Yeah, I didn't realize it was him until afterwards. I was like, oh, okay, I guess that's why it works. He had like all the best jokes, in my opinion.
yeah.
Yeah. He had some really great jokes.
Oh man, I don't even know. When he's
There
looking
was
at the daughters. I love it.
there's internet talk and just from fans, not from the the producers, a Death and Dennis Caleb McCoy spinoff.
How awesome.
That would be a buddy cop road movie, huh?
Yeah.
Make him like try to start a band or something.
Or do something different since we've already seen bands. Just
Yeah.
the hair club for not men. I don't know.
Yeah, that's an interesting story. How does music exist now in that universe? That the best song.
Yeah, really.
I would be interested in another Bill and Ted with the daughters, of course.
Yeah, that's what I thought they would take it.
Yeah, I really wish they would.
But people are like, oh, they just want to be woke. They just want to make money. They didn't just do anything for this movie from what we've observed. And I'm speaking for everybody, but they put their hearts into it. They really cared about it. They went over the script for 10 years,
Yeah.
7 years, whatever it was.
10 years it took to make to get the funding and everything to make it. Yeah.
Yeah, and they didn't want to put out just another sequel. They loved the story and they wanted to do it, and it shows. So they didn't just woke make this. It worked better, and the girls were great. I didn't get to talk to Bridget too much, but Samantha Weaving, Samara, pardon me, walked by, saw me in the maker. You look great. It's the only thing she said to me. I was like, thanks. All right, thank you. I'll be right back.
We're so sweet. We loved working with the girls. I mean, they were always happy and kind, and everybody's it was kind of one big family on set. It had that
They had such good energy because they were in the Mozart scene. So I feel like every time we looked at them, they were just partying. I was like, oh, wow. Because we started doing, gosh, it was like probably 10 p.m. We were starting to get tired at that point, but they were just like, yeah. And so it brought our energy up.
Perfect casting, in my opinion.
Before I got to the set and they had not decided to hire me, they had to check me out. The director had to. So I'm standing there with my backpack and I'm nervous, and and then they grind it into you. More than the stars, it's the people who hire you. Don't ask for pictures. Don't bug the stars. Don't do this. Don't. So I got no place to sit. I'm just waiting patiently, standing there. I turn, and there's Kristen Shaw, and the wardrobe lady's working on her dress, and she goes, "Hi," and inside I'm like, "Oh my God, that's Kristen. Hi."
Great.
And that's all. I had to turn away. I should have just gone and talked to her like a normal human being, and then. So I missed the chance, just for a pleasant conversation. Just I kick myself to this day. We know someone who. He was an extra in the wedding scene, and he got a picture with Keanu, and someone else reported him, and memos started flying.
Oh,
Come to find out, Keanu said, "Hey, you want to take a picture?"
of course.
Which is the way to do it. If they ask you, it's fine.
Yeah.
You just can't bug them.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, that's the thing. They tell us, and I mean, now that I'm starting to take acting classes, I understand. But they tell us to kind of, just let them stay in their mindset. I remember one time I was an extra on something, and we had just shot a scene, and they told us to reset, and I was just dancing to my spot, and they were like, this is a very serious scene. Please don't dance. And I'm like, oh, sorry. But me, I guess I love to dance, and I had no clue what the scene was about because we couldn't hear them talking. So
They
it was
don't tell you anything.
Yeah, that was for Jade Earring, I think. So I was like, whoops, sorry. So yeah, I would have to contain. Huh?
Jade Earring is Reminiscence.
Oh, it's the
they
same
changed the
thing.
name?
Yeah,
Ah.
yeah. That they put it out as code. Most, a lot of them do. But yeah, the Jade Earring casting was actually Reminiscence with Hugh Jackman, and that's the one I did with. I was a high roller.
So the writers were there the whole time?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Chris Matheson,
Yeah.
they're amazing.
Man, that must have been cool. I'm a big fan of those guys. Man.
I gave Ed Solomon a button at the wrap party, and I had ordered I had a bunch of buttons made that were oh goodness, it was the Ziggy Piggy buttons from Bill and Ted.
Yeah.
And so at the wrap party, I gave Ed Solomon one of the Ziggy Piggy buttons, and he looked and he was like, he had tears in his eyes, and he was like, "Where did you get this?" And I was like, I find all kinds of lovely things on the internet. And he was like, "You have no idea." He's like, "This is going on my door when I get back." He's like, "You have no idea how much this means to me." And I was like, "Oh," so I had them made for Dean Paraso, and for all of them, I made sure that right at the end, I handed everybody the Ziggy Piggy buttons, and they were like, "This is amazing."
Power of the internet, let me tell you.
So they did the Ziggy Piggy. That's Ed and oh my God, I blanked on the other guy's name. Who's his writing partner?
Ed and Chris Matheson.
Chris, thank you. Hello, Jerome. How are you? But then in the second movie, they were in the seance, and they're in the third movie.
Yep, they're in hell. They are the demons in hell. Yep.
How do you know? A robot in hell.
Yeah, that was him, right? Okay. Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. I apologize.
Hey.
Jerome was another stand-in, and on that tractor-trailer scene, he's actually Louis Armstrong stand-in. So I, in full makeup as death, and that was a long stand-in part. We were there for 20 minutes. I had very hot spotlights kept hitting me in the back of the neck, and I was dodging them. And then he would turn to me and go, "Man, you look dead tired."
Yes, absolutely. Good. It was a great show to work on. Forgive me for the sound in the background. And it was extremely hot. And working with Brian and the team was a great time to work with them. I was a little overwhelmed. I think I got burned, really. And I'm talking about from the sun. And got to meet a lot of great cast. I enjoyed it, and look forward to seeing the movie.
Yeah, so you said you were the Louis Armstrongs.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I think I did like 2 weeks and 2 days or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the fancy thing about Louis Armstrong was his mother and my friend his mother and my relative were very good friends. And that's with, his mother is Sally Ann Roberts off of the news station. I think she's retired now. I'm not sure she's still on the WWL channel 4 News in New Orleans. But when I found out that was his mother, he and I kind of clicked. I looked nothing like him. That's the industry, guys. And anyway, I wasn't his double, but I was his stand-in. Funny young man, very talented, and glad I had just, it's just about being on the production. Sometimes people want to be in front of the camera. I just like to eat myself, at the table. Hey, man.
Crafty.
Yes, you just keep, well, when I mean eat, I'm talking about make money and not be famous. So Crafty,
Ah.
I actually got direction from Dean several times. So even just being background and being an extra, he was that dedicated that he was giving us, direction versus just because usually like the director tells the PA and the PA tells us what to do. But in that case, like during the Mozart scene, he would like say, okay, now react, and it was always him, not necessarily the PA telling us to do that. He was actually the one that told me to dance in front of the green screen. And I didn't, since I had only been there a few days, I didn't know who was who. And so I know like in the past I've interacted with ADs, assistant directors. And so for some reason I thought it was the assistant director doing all that green screen stuff. But then I realized once I saw the interviews later, I'm like, that was actually him. Oh, wow. Yeah, really cool.
He was extremely hands-on throughout the whole process. I mean, like I said, always there on set. He never, if we were there 16-hour days, he was right there with us. And extremely approachable for, any of us. If we had any issues, if we had anything, we could easily go to Dean, and it was not everyone really kind of became a family. It was.
Yeah, it was very tight-knit, and everybody got their info from Dean or Shelley. I mean, it was fantastic.
A big hierarchy that that we get on a lot of sets. This one, everybody was kind of on equal footing, being able to go and approach each other and get whatever we needed.
And it's so awesome.
I think my surprise was Dave Grohl.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that was.
Who?
Dave Grohl, singer from Foo Fighters.
The mansion with the rock star.
Yeah, that's
5
right.
years in the future.
The buckets on the head cracked me up in that scene. I was like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to do that thing. Man, I was hoping they'd forget about it.
I forgot about that. Yeah, that's totally Bill and Ted right there. There's little moments like that. I love it.
Yeah, I don't know if Russ or Brian, I don't know if you guys were there for the day. We were at the ranch, and it was the day that we did. Oh gosh, I was laughing. I think it was a Tuesday, but we did the Kid Cudi and the Last Supper scene, and then like minutes later, we jumped across the room and we did the boat scene with George Washington, and like the day where we had the soundstage was set up and all of these, and so we were jumping time periods, as walking a few feet and into a whole nother set, and then another few feet in the same room. And, they've got us in this gigantic bathtub and a boat, and we're they're putting things in and making it the Delaware River. And I'm like, this is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I didn't work that.
Yeah, history major. And so I was like, to be able to jump, and I was like, it was time traveling within minutes. It was pretty brilliant.
Well, it was fantastic working with Reeves, trying to see him not sweat. And I think it was like 96, 90 degree weather we were in. And
but we were in a parking lot.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. If you look at the highway scene when all the cars on the highway jam, that was done at the ranch. Mm-hmm. And the thing about it was, he's very meticulous, very detailed in how he acts, and it's good to work with him. Pleasant guy. Didn't, he was personable, but he was just mainly focused and trying not to melt. So it was a great opportunity to work with him. Side note, I had an opportunity to work with Mr. Riddick, who is the guy at the hotel in the John Wick scenes for him.
Oh,
yeah.
So I had a chance to chat, and talk about Reeves, and great guy to work with. Look forward to working with him in the future. I don't know if I could karate chop him, but
Kind of
look,
tall. Huh?
yeah, I know. I look forward to Bill and Ted 3.
And so, even though we knew all the jokes, we were still laughing. So I said, you know, if they can get me laughing after I already know the punchlines are coming, I was like, that's when I know it's a good movie.
Yeah.
So Russ and Brian, William Sadler, I absolutely love that guy. He's like one of my favorite actors of all time. Like, really, Road Racers is one of my all-time favorite movies. What was that like? How cool was he?
Yes, very funny. Just seeing him do the house scenes, I was rolling over just watching the house scenes get shot. And I did there's that one cut where I'm standing in for him, and it's basically all green screen, and you could see it in the movie where he's kind of like fading out, and he's holding this guy, you know, and he's pointing, you know, some of that.
Always
And,
falling with the dad.
Yeah.
yeah,
And the
that's
SWAT
it.
car.
Yeah, and the SWAT car. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was pretty. It was just me and him at that point. Everybody was just kind of hanging around watching the shot, and seeing it on the screen beforehand was really great.
Yeah, that scene was so awesome. It's like, why did the truck go to hell? I love
It's
it.
a really good laser.
And then the robot, yeah, it was so cool. And like everyone just goes straight to hell.
Somebody asked that of Ed Solomon on Twitter, and he's like, "Man, I don't know. We've been joking about it." I said, "Look, it's all. Some lasers are set to stun. Some lasers are set to kill. Some, lasers send you to hell.
There you
It's
go.
all in the. It's the frequency of the emission of the light. That when it hits you, or it's whether you use AA or AAA batteries."